Is all Notre Dame got to do is be Michigan to beat Ohio State? Let's talk about why that is true and, frankly, is not true. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for being here. While you're here, hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing. It's free. Ring the bell so you don't miss any of the segments that we upload here, talking college football 24/7, 365, and answer the question that I posed, right, in the comments below. Do you think Notre Dame just has to be Michigan to beat Ohio State in this game? I tend to think the answer is yes, and the answer is absolutely not, right? Let's start with this. The University of Michigan has beaten Ohio State every year that they have played since 2021, okay? They didn't play in 2020, a game that I think would have resulted in an Ohio State win and quite possibly the end of the Jim Harbaugh era. COVID complications led to them canceling the game, okay? Ohio State plays the national championship game and expects to run it back in 2021, but Jim Harbaugh has this thing humming, right? They get to the college football playoff after beating Ohio State and winning the Big Ten championship. They do it again. And then they do it again. And then they win a national championship. All while Ohio State has been reeling by Ohio State standards, right? Losses to Michigan, not winning the Big Ten championship, not winning a national championship. 2024 comes. We know how much money they spent to bring all these players back, and we know how much money they spent to go get players they thought they needed to win. You take the loss to Oregon, okay. It's a 1-point loss on the road. You're still one of the best teams in college football, and you proved that with a great win against a Penn State team that made the Final Four. Now, you're playing Michigan, who at the time is 6-5, whose best win so far isn't much to celebrate about. And then you are in a dogfight with an Ohio State team that needs to prove, for whatever reason, that it is not soft and that it can run the ball on a team that, frankly, has been about running the football and stopping the run since Jim Harbaugh got there, and Sherrone Moore has tried to accelerate that by adding a few more weapons. I think this offseason is going to help that, notably a damn quarterback. But that's kind of the thing. This Michigan team is the one that you're supposed to beat like a drum if you're Ohio State. You're supposed to be able to drop 100, and they're supposed to score -92. That's how this was supposed to go. Instead, it's a 16-13 win for the Michigan Wolverines, who, as I said, don't have a quarterback. I mean, they did. They had a guy taking snaps back there, but nothing that you thought should be really testing or taxing Jim Knowles' defense. It's certainly not one defense that you thought Will Howard, Emeka Buko, Jeremiah Smith, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, so on, could not handle. Wasn't the case. Still, Ohio State makes the college football playoff because it's 12 teams. I need to add here, a 10-2 Ohio State this year does not make the 14 playoff. It doesn't. We're probably looking at Georgia, Texas, Oregon, maybe Penn State, maybe Clemson, definitely, maybe Notre Dame, definitely not Ohio State, with that second loss to the Michigan team that's just frankly not that good. But we don't know that until, not as bad as they looked, but we don't know that until they beat up on a number 11 Alabama, who had Jalen Milroe at quarterback in the ReliaQuest Bowl. So they felt like they'd always been there, but not necessarily in the way that we thought. Notre Dame, meanwhile, has this horrible loss to Northern Illinois in week 2, 16-14 at home. I and others wrote them off. Didn't think this would be a team we got to talk about in the college football playoff. Things break their way, and they keep winning football games. They beat 2 service academies that happen to be top 25 teams and 2 of the best teams in college football this year. That helps. You beat USC like a drum. You'd beaten Texas A&M earlier in the year. Like, the resume is building here for a program that's not going to play for a conference championship. They get the home game against Notre Dame. They beat them by 10. They get to play in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. They beat them by double digits. And then they get to play in the Orange Bowl against Penn State, and they beat that team on, a last-second field goal that, frankly, is one Mitch Jeter needed to have and makes him immortal over there at Touchdown Jesus Land. Now, what I find interesting about the comp here is that many people believe that the best way to get underneath Ohio State's skin is to say the words Michigan until they turn red in the face and want to punch you. Tennessee tried that. They got 42 dropped on their skull, okay? Even some Texas fans tried that, And they got embarrassed late in the game, mostly because Jack Sawyer decided to say, no, it's winning time, which is my time. So I am going to make this strip, stack, scoop, score, and we're gonna go home. We're gonna take this thing all the way to Atlanta and play for a national championship in the hallowed halls of the SEC's Ithaca. Like we run Ithaca now. Your man's is gone. We've dispatched your man's. We run this. Penelope, you my wife now. All right. That's what they're playing for. Now, the reason I think it is that Notre Dame's got to be like Michigan is because Notre Dame's built like Michigan. Marcus Freeman has very much said we want to be dominant on the offensive line. We want to be dominant on the defensive line, which is code for we want to ram the football down your throat and we want to sit on you. We do not want to throw the ball all over the yard because that's not how we think we're going to win football games against great teams. We're going to play outstanding defense. We're going to play physical on both sides, which is another way of saying we're going to be violent and aggressive when we come after you. He's done that. Al Golden has done that. Mike Denbrock's offense does not look like the high-flying one that he had at LSU with Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas, where you had a quarterback that won the Heisman going for 3,800 and 1,100. By the way, shout out Jaden Daniels getting a win for the Commanders. Meanwhile, Dallas Cowboys got to fire the damn head coach because we suck. But, Jerry Jones is great in the land, man. I don't give a damn, Jerry. I need you to win with the Dallas Cowboys, not no Emmy on no streaming show on Paramount. So Notre Dame is already built like that Michigan team that has thwarted Ohio State 4 times in a row. The only way that I think this goes that way, though, is that Lou Holtz comes to the 50-yard line. He gets to flip the coin. He gets to yell soft at the Ohio State captains and soft at Ryan Day and walks up to them and yells soft in his famous lisp. That's the only way I think it's going to go. If Ryan Day is the guy that I think he is, and I think he is, want to score points, want to score them the most efficiently, knowing that we have these these fifth generation fighters, right, on the outside. We're going to throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith. We're going to throw the ball to Emeka Egbuka. You want to cloud Jeremiah Smith? Great. Carnell Tate's great. He's going to catch all these passes. We're going to beat you on screens. We're going to be getting the QB in the run game. And you know what? Caleb Downs and Cody Simon are going to be let loose to roam and seek whom they may destroy. Like, it's there for them. They know it's there for them. In the war of attrition where Ohio State has lost 2 offensive linemen, has to have 3 guards to one side, and Notre Dame has lost at least 1 offensive lineman, might have a loss of 2 if Rocco Spindler can't go. It's not really about that for me. It's Ohio State's got better players than Notre Dame. As long as Ohio State does not beat itself with its own plan and make stupid mistakes and decisions, they're going to win. Like, that's just what it is. Notre Dame's going to have to play a flawless game of football, and they're going to have things go their way with Ohio State, like unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, procedural penalties, stupid passes, fumbling the football, all things that can happen. But while they're happening, Notre Dame is going to have to be flawless on their side. No turnovers. Giving up no sacks against a team that's got 4 sacks a game in every game they play so far this season. I mean, 4 against Tennessee, 8 against Oregon, 4 against Texas. But they don't throw the ball all that much at Notre Dame, so there's not going to be all those many opportunities to sack Riley Leonard. And then you got Jaden Greathouse. You got, my goodness, Jordan Faison, Bo Collins, but that's receiver by committee. The guy to stop is Jeremiah Love. You stop him, stop Darian Price, you force Riley Leonard to throw the ball, game's over, because that ain't what they want to do. So, yeah, I think there's something to that. I absolutely think there's something to Notre Dame needing to be like Michigan. But frankly, a lot of teams want to be like Michigan. I mean, Alabama was built like Michigan. Michigan was built like the Alabama teams that Nick Saban had in the early 2010s. They wanted to run the ball and sit on you. Like, that's how they built. That's how Georgia's built. They want to run the ball and sit on you. I have to point this out. Realize that Georgia's won 2 national championships, the college football playoff era, and they've had 1 1,000-yard receiver in their entire friggin' history. As much as I love throwing the football because I'm a quarterback, it ain't how most teams win national championships. They win them with dominant defenses and running the football to control the ball. We got the ball. You don't have the ball. If you don't have the ball, you can't score. Only way you get the ball is if we give it to you. And the only way we want to give it to you is after we score. And then we want to stop you. We want to take the ball away from you, and we want to score it again. But as we're holding on to the ball and we're not scoring all that quickly, guess what else has happened? Tick, 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 tick. Limit the number of possessions that the other team gets. You capitalize on the ones that you have. You'll win football games. That's why I can keep saying Georgia has never had more than 1 1,000-yard receiver in their entire school history, and they've won 2 national championships in the last 4 years. All that being said, Chip Kelly, throw the damn ball to Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, Will Howard, hand the ball to Quinshon Judkins, and catch Travion Henderson on swing passes and break the game open early so that Notre Dame has to play from behind. And if they're down double digits, all you got to do is do what Michigan would do. Just sit on their chest and go get this national championship.